Welcome to Book Lounge by Libby, the coziest corner of the internet where stories are always simmering. I'm Joe, and I am so happy you're here. Thank you for checking out today's episode. We are quickly approaching Thanksgiving here in the United States, and I thought today would be a really fun time to do some food for thought. This week in segment one, we're turning up the heat and serving a heaping helping of holiday cheer with the absolutely incredible Mamrie Hart. And in segment two, our guest hosts are sharing books that they're most thankful for. Whether you're stirring gravy or stirring up inspiration, today's episode is all about food for thought. The memories, the flavors, the creative sparks that make this season so delicious. So whether you are getting ready for company or you are baking away, whatever it may be, grab your favorite cozy drink, maybe sneak a bite of something from the holiday table, and let's dig in. Well, joining me today is Mamrie Hart. Mamrie, welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thanks so much for having me, Joe. I'm so excited to chat.
I can't tell you how excited I am to be here. It is embarrassing, but I am that person. I'm just like, this is my Thanos moment. I collect any moment that I can, and I'm like, well, let me use my publisher connections, please.
Yes.
Your poor publicist can attest that I don't know, probably since you vaguely announced your book that I was like, when this becomes available, I will be bothering you.
Oh, I love it. Let me be an Infinity Stone.
Yeah,
I mean,
right in the gauntlet.
absolutely.
This is one of those moments where I can be like, well, if I got hit by a bus tomorrow, I'm probably good now.
Joe, don't even put that into the universe.
I know.
Oh my God.
With the way things are going, I can't say anything like that. But let's dive into it. I would love to hear so much about you that we haven't heard already, I'm sure. But let's start off by like getting into the kitchen and the industry. You've always had joy and a reverence in your approach to life, food, and drink. What first pulled you into the world of cooking, cocktails? When did you realize that this was like the public thing you wanted to share?
Right. I mean, I've always loved cooking, and I've always, I mean, I loved cocktails as soon as I was legal. But
Right, sure.
But even previous to that, and before I was really in the kitchen, I loved food entertainment. So I was like an early adapter of the Food Network. I was watching the dubbed Iron Chef episodes at
Yes.
13 years old. And really, when Food Network had 4 people.
Right.
I was obsessed.
When Rachel Ray was being recorded on a camcorder. Like,
yeah, thank you. Or like a flip phone. I'm not sure.
Truly.
And even like I had a subscription to Martha Stewart Living at like a preteen. Like, who is she?
Right.
So I
Move
always,
over, Cosmo girl.
right?
Like,
Yeah, exactly. So I always loved food in the entertainment space. And then as I got older and started cooking for myself, that was really from more of a necessity at being a vegetarian in North Carolina. And before that was really kind of, I mean, not to age myself, but before that was kind of a known thing. Before there was a vegetarian option on a menu, you had to get creative, or you had to cook and eat before you went out with your friends.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, still, even today, the option was always Burger King. You either got the sadly microwaved vegetarian burger, or now the only thing you can guarantee is that there will be an Impossible Whopper everywhere. Like,
right. I say my
it.
DNA is like 75% Morningstar black bean patty, because that was the only option. Or like a Subway veggie sub before the patty. I'm talking just a 6-inch lettuce sandwich.
Lettuce and cukes.
Lettuce and cukes. So yeah, it was kind of my love of cooking was born out of, okay, I need to figure out something that's delicious, or I'm going to go crazy just surviving on French fries.
Right. And starving. And the French fry is real. All the people in my life, vegan, vegetarian, it's like, oh yeah, I guess I'll just eat potato in a different form now. Thank you so much.
Right. I know people love to say, the girl lunch of it all is a salad and French fries. And I'm like, that's all I ate from
That's
from
just
10
being a
to
vegetarian
24.
from like the 90s on.
Exactly. So not early adapter. Obviously, people have been vegetarian for centuries and centuries.
Sure.
But just being in rural North Carolina, growing up, or then being at a college town, and trying to figure out how to not be malnourished.
Right. Not be malnourished, too real. But also the pull of the Martha Stewart, of
Yes.
the Ina Garten, the actual
Mm.
pageantry that comes behind it all. And I think that that fits into like the performance nature and so much it wanting to be a part of I don't know, of the storytelling. I think
Yeah.
even still today, no one does it quite like the Food Network when it comes to a ridiculous show. I mean, like, how many seasons of Chopped are we into? And I'm not gonna
Right.
stop
I'm
watching.
not going to stop watching it. Also, can we just take a moment? R.I.P. Pour one out the kitchen.
Oh my god.
I mean, that's a rough
The
one.
set
I went on the kitchen once, and I'll say to this
yeah,
day, I get more texts from
about that.
people who are like, that it shows on reruns. It was on like a rerun 2 weeks ago. I did it like 6 years ago. One time
Oh,
that'll be like, my mom just texted me. She's freaking out. You're on the
you're on
kitchen.
again.
Because it is this, Food
I can't
Network
believe
is
that
the be all
one.
end all.
I know, and I can't believe that one went. That gone too soon. Gone but
I
not
know.
forgotten.
I know, truly. Somebody check
Ugh,
on Sunny Anderson. Um,
still not doing well. I mean, we're still wearing our veils over
right?
that one, like
Exactly.
just sadness. Now,
Mm-hmm.
between You Deserve a Drink and All I Think About Is Food, that like content, that showmanship, humor, storytelling, how do you strike the balance between entertaining and feeding, literally and figuratively? Because there's such a balance there. I mean,
Right.
and how are your eyes doing? Have you recovered after all the years of like crossing in every video?
Oh,
You're like, where is he
amazing.
going with that? I'm
I
like,
was like,
it's in
what have you
there.
heard?
Yeah, you're like,
No,
what do I not know?
no, it is interesting. The writing the cookbook was obviously a completely different experience because,
Sure.
uh, firstly, it's a lot of content. It's 100
So
recipes.
much.
And I decided, let's not only make it more difficult by putting these into themed out dinner parties, let's also figure out a way to take your leftovers and turn them into something new. So when I tell you I was just full Minority Report, being like, but if I switch out the green beans, then that ruins the next day's quiche. It was a lot of organizing and not just going like, here's some starters, here's some
Right.
dips, here's some salads. I really wanted to like build this story because I love entertaining in my real life so much. Um,
Huh.
so that was a
And the
challenge in and of itself.
photography, we can't forget
Thank
about
you.
that. The amount
Thank
of
you.
time you spent about like, even just the moments where on the pod, you would say like, "Oh, we just did this giant shoot." I'm like, "Well, I'm sure it's gorgeous," but then once it's in your hands and you go, "Oh god,"
Well,
like,
thank you. Well, I did the
yeah.
photography. It was kind of the brainchild of it was me and my friend Claire Thomas. And Claire Thomas is a food little ledge in her own right. She's the one of the co-founders of Sweet Laurel Bakery.
Oh,
Yes, which is so popular, and they have their own cookbooks. And she's also a commercial director. She's like interior designer. She's like Arc Digest for home. She's done.
jeez.
So she really has a certain aesthetic that's very
Mhm.
rich and creating a world. And every
Right.
every house she designs, she has a theme to it. She designed the Palm Springs house that Grace and I own, and
Oh, wow.
she was like, it's a Pan Am flight to Morocco in 1967. I was like, okay,
Those are
like,
the kind of friends I need because that's as I'm like walking around, I'm like, let me put some more velvet in this room. That's the person I need to be like, well, here's the mood board.
exactly, texture. And so when I knew I was going to do a cookbook, I was like, Claire, I not only need you to be the photographer, but I need you to like build these mini worlds with me because I want each chapter, since it is a different theme with the dinner party, I want it to feel like you're at that dinner party. And like no tea, no shade to
Mhm.
other books, but
Yeah.
especially I feel like with vegetarian cooking, it is so simplified and so gooped, if you will, that it's
Yes.
like, here's a table, here's natural light, let's go.
Here's the top-down shot that you could
Right?
get in any video. Yeah.
There you go. And you're
Yeah.
just like a random countertop. And for me, I'm like, well, if I have my friends over, like I theme out the cocktail. Like
Presentation.
I want something, I'm not showing you how to make table pieces, but like just creating this kind of world in that you don't want to go to a restaurant where it's just sterile. The mood around you makes you it makes you be like, you know what? I wasn't drinking tonight, but now I'm having a fucking dirty martini. because
Yes.
they sat me in this corner banquette and my waiter is 87 years old. Like,
Oh,
let's
my
go,
favorite.
you know?
Nothing I
So,
love more than an old waiter who's
oh, I
got a
want to
story to
check their
tell.
pulse. Like,
Yeah.
I want them.
Are you with us? But also, what have you seen?
What have you seen? I know that's my favorite thing of going to Palm Springs is going to different places and being like, you've done Blow with Frank Sinatra, right? Like,
Absolutely. You're like, I am the wellness check.
yeah,
But
exactly.
also,
Exactly. So that was the goal in it. And it was a lot of buying fabrics, a lot of eBaying plateware, a lot of just like painting trellis,
right.
I didn't know how to grout tile. We did
Now you
that.
do.
So no, so I'm really proud of that, but it definitely like lends into the fact that I don't just
Mhm.
want to show you a recipe. I want you to like
Yes.
entertain and it's a presentation of yourself.
That makes so much sense. And I think even to your point of like, while you're not telling people how to create tablescapes, you're building a full experience in each section. So I think the kind of storytelling that you've baked into this, and like you are a storyteller, your other books show that, your film work shows that, like storytelling is present. You've given everyone the recipe to like create their own inspiration from there. It's like we know what the vibe is, and now you get to put your spin on it. It's not as to me, it's like cooking for the creative mind.
Mm,
I need the help with what the recipe is to put on the table. And I also then love the inspiration so I can go, oh, this is my twist on the like artichokes Rockefeller. This is the
right.
way that I'm scaping it out rather than, okay, follow from A to Z and everything you do will look the same as everyone else.
Yeah, exactly. And
I
also,
might like to be a little individual,
right, just a touch.
just a
Just
touch.
a touch. And then also another thing that was like very important to me was
Hmm.
making it feel like, well, twofold is making
Yes.
it feel accessible and that like,
Yeah.
I feel like
Vegetarian
this is
cooking is
I was gonna say
hard. Like,
this podcast is just gonna be me griping about vegetarian cookbooks.
please,
But
please.
but it really is like, well, if my mom makes this, she doesn't know where to get xanthan gum to,
Right.
it becomes,
Right.
well, if we're going to cook vegetables, let's cook vegetables. There's no soy products, no faux meat, no, not
Yes.
even tofu in this book, which
Yeah.
I love,
I love tofu
I
and
had
I
veggie
eat
sausage
meat,
last
but
night.
yeah.
Yeah. I incorporate a lot of
Mhm.
fake meat into my diet, but I also don't think I need to give you directions on how to make it.
Right. This is absolutely a celebration of the food product you're working with. We are talking veggies, we're talking cocktails, and it all blends together. The purpose is, and you say it basically in the intro that like I shouldn't have to tell you how much salt and pepper. Like there is something to do with to taste. Like,
Controversial take in a cookbook, by the way.
but it's I am like a cook from the heart, cook from the brain kind of
Right.
person. Like I'm always smelling, I'm always like generally tasting because I have a sense of what this needs. And even sometimes I'll look at a recipe and I go, all of this is wrong, but
Right.
I'll take your suggestions. I just need like a
No,
roadmap.
exactly. It's an inspiration. It's a mood
Yeah.
board. It's like, that's how
Yes.
I view cookbooks as well. I love
Mhm.
to own cookbooks. Right now, my
Yes.
laptop is on like 8 of them. I will absolutely buy your cookbook and I'm going to look at it and I'm going to change it. It's basically like looking at a style inspo
Yes.
Instagram and going like, I love the way they paired that together. I'm not going to buy that outfit.
No.
I can afford that outfit, but I never thought about wearing that wide leg jean with the scarf as a belt, and just
I
looking
know
at
my
it
body
as
is not Pedro Pascal, but I can
right.
take inspiration from his wardrobe. So,
Exactly. Exactly. And that's how I like view cookbooks is
yeah.
I'm just never been a person who's going to measure it out or who isn't going to substitute this for that. And that's one of the approaches I tried to take in the book of basically we're all adults here. If you just
Yes.
drove to the bookstore and got this book, or if you have a credit card to buy it online,
Mhm.
you also have the wherewithal and the free will to know that you can substitute pecans for walnuts.
Right.
You
Right.
know what I
And
mean?
if you have a nut allergy, don't include them at all.
Yeah,
Like, if we
yeah,
have to give you that
exactly.
warning, uh-oh.
Yeah, there's no baking, there's no chemistry in this book. So,
Right.
yeah.
And that's the other thing I love. I love the genuineness. That there is just something about like throw it out there. Cooking should be an experience. It is different than baking. It is not science. It is it is like, how are we nourishing our bodies? And I think the kind of vegetarian mindset really speaks to that. You have to get crafty. You have to be willing to deal with some things that end up less than at the first
Right.
pass or when someone else does it. And so I think this is like the straight up plug of just if you have tried vegetarian cooking before, you haven't tried it like this.
Well,
So,
thank you.
yeah, of
That's very
course.
very kind.
And I'm
Yeah.
not paid to say that.
I
I
know
mean it.
he's not. Also, what's your Venmo?
Yeah. Well,
Is
QR
it
code
book
on screen.
hyphen
Yeah.
lounge?
Yeah, right. Could you imagine?
Oh my goodness.
So, thinking of opinions, because we've shared some beautiful ones right here of like, you should do food the way you want to do it. I love your and Grace's food rankings. I think
Oh,
there
thank
is,
you.
yes, there is something like beautifully unhinged about it. But
Yeah.
as I'm like cleaning my house and I go, well, absolutely, I would have never thought of that noodle type.
Yeah.
And while I am not like a soup goblin, I was like, well, I do need to know what
Well,
soups are worth me trying. Because, like, if I don't love soup the
yes,
most, I need to see what people love the most. So I try
exactly.
that.
And I mean, not to sound like a mid 2000s BuzzFeed
But please,
quiz, but I think people's favorite soups say a lot
says a
about
lot
them.
about
A
them.
lot
Absolutely.
about them. If you're coming at me with your top soups are all cream based, I know your upbringing. I know
Yes.
a lot about you, and I know you've got a digestive system like a fortress. God
Steel
bless.
trap.
You
Yeah.
know? So,
Lucky
yeah,
you.
Grace and I love to do these food rankings and really get into the minutia of it. And every time we do it, I realize more and more that when I was watching Delicious Dish sketches on
Yes.
SNL with Anna Gasteyer, and
Hmm.
that I feel like that was before podcasting because they were doing NPR, right?
Right.
But I realized like that's what I actually wanted to listen to episodes. You know?
I mean, but that's so true. Like, if that existed, I would be there. Like, and like the weird I don't experience ASMR, but the
I
weird
do.
like closeness tingles of as they
Yes.
whisper into the mic, like, oh, that sounds so good. Like the
Right.
NPR voice, just
It's
okay,
fabulous.
I'm
But
ready.
like I love talking about food in a way, Grace and I have very different tastes and really just being like, "Well, I disagree. I want you to kind of fight for why that is the best form of potato."
Please tell me why this ranks
Yes.
here. Yes.
Yes. So it's a
And
good way to get to know someone is what's your top 5 dishes where the main ingredient is cheese?
see,
It
that's the
really says a
real
lot.
first date conversation. Get the check from Bumble, take that to them and say, "Hi, here are some prompts." Like,
Exactly.
that's useful. I mean, because,
Mhm.
we eat with our eyes, but we also like, I have acid reflux. If I have someone who
Mhm.
can only eat tomatoes as a partner,
Right.
I'm either cooking 2 different things every night
Mm.
or, uh, it's not
No.
gonna work out because 'cause I'm like,
No,
I'm not even gonna pretend like, "Oh, I'll just live in pain for love." No, love's not worth
no,
that. I love
there
myself
is
more.
yes, there is a level of
Yeah,
compatibility with
right.
taste. I mean, I have no problem, uh, Chip and I, for listeners who don't know who is my partner, we like, he eats meat and I don't, so I'll make him meat but, like, the rest, I'll either do a fake meat or I just, like, double up on veggies, you know what I mean? But if he I feel like I feel like there's a bit of an epidemic, like, there's a lot of men
Mhm.
of a white cis male certain age
Imagine that.
that, like, all they want is chicken tenders. Like, and
All they want.
listen, and I'm not saying that's all he wanted. Chip's very well traveled, loves food,
Yes.
but, like, he definitely says once a week, "The amount of more vegetables I eat and enjoy from being with you." You know what I mean? But you gotta be adaptable because I do feel like I
He
love
would live in Buffalo Wild Wings if not
right,
for you.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. But, like, as evidence from the book, like, I like to go to dinners and, like, that is, as a lot of us learned during COVID, my only hobby. And so if someone doesn't enjoy that, that's a pause. I had an
Yes.
ex who I was with for a long time who did not like wine, and it would it that
And
which
you're a
was fine,
som, like,
which is fine. I know, right? Which is fine to just like beer, but, like,
sure.
I was like, "So if I am I never gonna be able to, like, split a bottle of wine with my partner?" And that depressed the
Right.
shit out of me. You know what I
Yes. Or to even just be like, hey, just taste this. I want to hear what I know you don't like wine, but I want to know what notes you pick up. Like,
Right, right. There is a
yeah.
commonality. I think it is an important thing in relationships and friendships, you know? I know with my
Yes,
friend
all
Jacqueline, like,
relationships. Yeah.
I could see a menu and kinda tell you what my best friends would order out of the gate,
Yes.
out of the gate.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'd go like, "And
I
you're
also
gonna get
can
the
do
Crudo, so I'm gonna get an extra drink, so we both have the same amount on the tab."
or I also know that she's going to be stuck. My best friend Ashley will be stuck between two things, and she'll pick the thing that she thinks she has to have, and she'll immediately regret it when it comes. And so when she says that, I go, "Girl, not again. We're not having another hot honey situation. Get this instead."
We're not the hot honey situation.
Look, in
Look,
Cleveland, I got access to a lot of good German food, and when
yes.
she says, I want a schnitzel," and then she goes, "But this Nashville hot chicken sandwich sounds so good," and I go, "Not at the German place.
No.
Not at the
And you know
German
what?
place."
And you know what? Get the schnitzel and ask for a
Thank you.
side of this hot sauce. What are we
Why
doing?
not? Make
Big
something
proponent.
new.
Big
Right.
proponent of creating my own dish from a menu. And you know what? That's a survival method from the PTSD of being vegetarian in the 90s.
Absolutely, but I think that's an important lesson. If we're just talking like general lessons
Right.
here, I know so many of us out there deal with anxiety and that a menu is the like you're pouring over it to be ready to order. And I know it sounds scary, but, like, let that be the test to just be like, "Oh, I want the sauce of that, but I want this dish." Ask for it.
You know what? You're never gonna know until you ask. It's so
Yes.
funny. I had this conversation with the friend the other day because I threw Grace a little dinner, like a surprise dinner for her 40th. And my friend Sarah comes in and she sees like the menu and see there's like a couple drinks that have like Grace names, you know, like the aging
Yeah.
gracefully and the blah, 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 you know, the hell big something. And
So
she's
cute.
like, "How did you get them to do that?" And I said,
Yes.
I asked.
Yes.
She was like, "You just decided to ask them?" And I was like, "Yeah, we'd been in touch about this dinner." I was like, "Can we take a couple of your already existing things
Yes.
and rename them and put them cute on the menu?" And it's so funny. She was like posting something the other day and said, "I recently learned from my friend Mamrie, you can just ask for stuff. What
You
is the
can
worst
just
that's going to
ask.
happen? A no?"
Right.
Yeah.
Rather hear a no than think about, "Ooh, I wish I would have tried that," or I wish I would have asked."
Here we go. Here we go. We can get a little phrase going.
Please.
I'd rather have a no than an unknown.
Oh, put a TM on that.
What?
But that's so true. I'd rather have a no than an unknown.
Unknown.
I think like I'm like agoraphobic. Keep me home. I'm happy for like an order in, make anything I want. I'm fine with that. But I am an event planner at work. So when it
Mm.
comes down to like leave the house, put this together,
Yeah,
if you don't ask, it doesn't happen. Like
exactly.
closed mouths don't get fed. I know that's
Mhm.
so trite, but it's true. Like no server wants you to have a bad time. So
Right.
like give them the happy respect that everyone in the world
Yeah,
deserves.
don't be a
Hello.
jerk.
Don't be a
Yeah.
dick. Like just roll up and have a good time. But also they'll do their best. If
But
they
also, you can
have
get a sauce. You can get a
right,
sauce on
you
the
can get
side,
a sauce. No one's gonna stop you from having a sauce on the side. And if they have a strict kitchen, well, maybe that's not the place to go anymore.
right? Exactly. Well,
Because
maybe
it's
if
probably hell for everyone.
yeah, maybe if you go to a restaurant and ask for one little modification and they look fear-stricken, maybe the
Right.
chef's a
I'm so
jerk and
sorry.
you should
Yeah.
just leave.
Right.
Anyway,
And that's when you
because
go, let me tip you and
yeah.
leave because I don't like what's happening back there.
Exactly. I mean, I've been in those situations. I've worked in restaurants where you go, yeah, I mean, some requests are going to be crazy. You'll be like, yeah, we can't pull that out of the gumbo. It's not made to order, you
Right.
know?
This has been simmering all day because you
Yeah,
need the depth of flavor, but
exactly. Exactly. But little things here and there you
right.
can get by with.
Right. We're not saying whip up something special just for me. I
No.
brought in my grandma's recipe, but
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
but swap these two things.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. And I think of like Thanksgiving strategizing, the side dish of it all. What's a must have on your perfect holiday table?
Oh, for Thanksgiving specifically,
Yeah.
I am a stuffing fiend. I've regularly said, why are we not incorporating this year round? Why are
This
we
is
not?
not pandering. It is my fate. Like that
It's
is
my
the
favorite.
that is my most favorite thing is
Yes,
stuffing. And I'm an
me
out of the
too.
bird because of course there's a turkey. So there's I guess
Yeah,
that's dressing is when it's in. And
right. Is
but
that the difference in the
I think
two?
that's the difference.
Dressing
Stuffing,
means it's been in the
oh,
cavity.
maybe it's the opposite.
Oh, so wait, no, that
Stuff,
makes
oh,
sense.
duh,
Stuff is
because
stuff.
stuffing
Oh,
and dressing is in a 9 by 13.
okay. Yes, there we go. Well, I'm a dressing girl then.
Same.
Specifically if I'm making it, I try to kind of follow my stepmom's recipe that,
Oh yeah.
I have her every year. I'm like, can you send me a pic of the,
Yes.
3x5 note card of every
Yes.
single year. But it is a make the cornbread the day before.
Oh,
So it gets a little
mhm.
stale. Just a
Yep.
ton of herbs. And you know what? No shame. It's in the recipe. Mrs. Dash.
Thank
Um,
you. Don't be
Thank you.
afraid.
I like to, add some fresh parsley and things like that and thyme and sage.
But
But
sometimes there's brown and serve liquid that has to hit the pan. You never know what that weird caramel
there
color
we
is going to
go.
give you.
There you go. So stuffing or dressing is
Whatever
I
it
have
is.
to have it. You know what? I've talked about this with Grace before because like I
Yeah.
was saying, I feel like it should be on menus more.
Please.
Come on.
But I want a
You
Thanksgiving
have bread
sandwich
that's
year
going
round.
bad. Yeah.
Always. Because
You have
every restaurant
leftover.
has bread for the table.
Thank you. There's hamburger buns that like you need to
Right.
get rid of.
Exactly.
So I think it should be I would love for it to be on more menus. I would love for there to be some innovations that it's, if it's summer, let's do it with this. If it's,
Oh,
lean more
yeah.
into like a winter one, like what that is. However,
Ooh.
Joe, am
Yes.
I saying this and then the availability of the dressing then takes away from the specialness of the holiday dressing?
I think that's the biggest thing.
That's tough.
I think that's the part that like kills me because I have free will. I
Yeah.
could make it anytime, but I
They got
don't.
their
Like,
stovetop stuffing booked on every grocery
well,
store.
that's different, but
I know, but I'm just saying
I
if
mean,
you
but
were
you're
like
so
really
right.
fiending,
If I'm fiending, I could.
you
And
needed
there
a
is
fix.
there's like a typical Midwest recipe that lives in the recipe box that's like dump stovetop with cream of mushroom soup
Okay, yes.
and chicken breast and then Swiss cheese on top of it. Like how Midwest is that? And then you throw it in the oven for like hours because
Oh,
that's the secret
wow.
to all Midwest cooking. You like
It's
leave it
time.
alone at 350 for like 3 days and then you don't know what mush is what, but it's
Right,
delicious.
but it's delish. Uh-huh.
But I don't know, like, if I was truly, like, staling out bread and making proper stuffing, dressing, whatever, would it be less special? Would I
I'm not
crave it
gonna
as
lie.
much come
I kind of
Thanksgiving?
want to make it tonight.
I know, now I'm like, "How
I'm
quickly?"
just salivating,
And we're
being like,
recording on I know, and we're recording on Halloween, and I'm like, "Can I get a box of stovetop in my
right.
hair?"
No, but now I feel like, especially because I live in Los Angeles, it's 80
Yes.
today,
Oh, sure, you don't have the weather anymore.
I'm truly gaslighting myself, like even just wearing long sleeves. But I feel like I feel like at least Halloween to me now it's the first day of fall. I know
Oh,
the first day
yes.
of fall is September 23rd because my birthday is
Whatever.
the last day of summer. But like now I'm like, okay, I can fully like
It's
dive
time.
into the pumpkin recipes and the this and
Soups,
that.
stews,
Oh, yes.
everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hearty. The hearty. Yeah, I absolutely am obsessed with stuffing. Can I tell you? Okay. So I have a pretty traditional Thanksgiving. Always have. I mean, like growing up, big family. Um, we would always have it at my aunt's house. There'd be, she had her specific things. Like there would always be like fried chicken in addition to a ham, in
Wow.
addition to a turkey, because there'd be like 40 people. We had a whole little table that was just pickled things,
Oh,
you
I
know.
love the South for that alone.
Mean. And every
No one
year,
pickles like the South.
no, and then there'd be, like the dessert buffet, like and
Uh-huh.
all these pies, and she grows blackberries, so there'd be blackberry cobbler that she grabbed the blackberries from the frozen Ziploc from the
That's
freezer
so
to make
rude. Oh, that sounds
so
amazing.
amazing. And every year it's just so funny because you just go. I heard my mom and her sisters every year go, we should just do something little next year. We should just do something little next year. This is
Uh-huh.
out of
This is
control.
too
This is too
much.
much. When are we gonna stop? This is too much, and they never stop, right? And I see myself doing that as well when I've
Absolutely.
hosted people and just being like, as you've seen from my book, I'm not like a big leftovers person. And so I'd be like, we don't need I mean, Chip and I, we've gone to fisticuffs. I've been like, we don't need broccoli casserole, green bean casserole, and corn. Like, we don't need that much.
We can't do it all.
There's going to be a casserole for every single person there.
Right.
But
and you have to like buy the takeaway containers to be like, please, we can't have it all.
Begging people. Truly, people jogging past the house, just being like, here you go.
Like the marathon runners, you're giving them water instead.
Exactly,
it's just leftovers.
but it's just stuffing. They're like, not ideal.
Okay. In a Ziploc.
2 things that I think are great for it is, one, I learned it from my friend Melissa, that she always does this the day after Thanksgiving, and I incorporated this kind of vibe in one of my chapters. She always makes a Thanksgiving quiche the next day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Love
with
that.
With turkey, the green beans, whatever, delicious.
Yeah.
I've like kind of passed this along to other people. Egg rolls. So you get your egg roll wrapper, you put whatever you want in there, you roll it up, you fry them, and then it's gravy dipping. You dip the gravy. I know. And then you I always make my own cranberry sauce.
Same.
Because I want it just, I
love the weird gel. Like, I think there's something nostalgic in my brain about it,
right.
but making it yourself.
You're never going to get that tartness. If you take cranberry sauce and make cosmopolitans, but like the cranberry and the sugar instead of like, as like
that's so
half
good.
The sugar, half the triple sec, but like put in the cranberry sauce, and then that gives you the pink and the sweet and the sour.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
Oh my God. I'm so hungry. But this year,
and I'm like,
this year I'm gonna do what I've always warned about.
Okay.
I'm going to Palm Springs with my bae and my 2 guys. And the night before Thanksgiving, we have a new tradition. Chip does a low country broil because it's like flavor profile so much different than what you're going to have the next day.
Right.
Thanksgiving morning, I always do like a cinnamon roll or a breakfast sandwich moment, mimosas immediately to watch the parade.
Of course.
Mimosas and bloodies, hanging out.
You got to get up too early for that, don't you?
I know. No. I watched it on repeat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No. Or like I record and like fast forward through
the
some
commercials.
Of them. You got to.
Oh, of course.
And we're going to go do a pre-feed dinner at a nice steakhouse. I'm not going to have the dishes. There's only 4 of us. I'm actually doing the thing my ancestors have always said they would do the following year. I'm going, you know what? We're getting fancy. We're going to Mr. Lyons in Palm Springs. And we're coming home to no dirty dishes.
Yes.
Let's ride.
Yes. No, that's the thing. I mean, because I'm also the Thanksgiving host. My mother comes over in the morning.
Really?
We get up too early. Oh, yes. We like prep things the night before. She comes over in the morning to get the turkey in the oven. We have the power of the Midwest upon us. So we use the bags. Have you ever bagged a turkey?
Yes.
That's the secret. That's the secret. You don't have to do anything. Yes. Okay. No basting. You just shove that thing in there and have a good time. Delightful.
I heard that a few times.
Me too.
Shove that in there and have a good time.
Have a good time. And you know what? When the thing pops, we're all happy.
You know what? And it wasn't a bag, so we're playing safe.
Exactly. Thanksgiving.
There we go.
It's about love. But like I'm the host, and I have gay brains, so I have china. I have like a service for 18 that I pull out and set. But you know what? My secret? I don't care. I throw that shit in the dishwasher.
Yeah, okay.
Hand wash china, whatever. If it's gone, it's gone. No one's rolling over.
That mindset. Well, yeah, I was going to say, is this like handed down to you? Or you like, I purchased the china so I could?
It was indirectly handed down to me from a family friend who, she was like, we never ate off of this. Every year we pulled it out. Our mom made us wash it, and then we put it back away, and it was never eaten off of. So to me, I'm like, oh, well, I'm reclaiming that for you, and I'll pull it out for anything. And then when my uncle will be like, okay, I'm on dish duty, I'm like, oh, throw it in the dishwasher. Who cares? It's china. And what?
Who cares?
It's a plate.
I'm always the same way too when people like save champagne for a special occasion and things like that.
Every day is a special occasion. We don't know what tomorrow is.
No, and you're not actually making it better. It's probably the best. Champagne should be fresh. Don't wait for the promotion and then you open it and so much air has gotten in that shrunken cork that it actually isn't as bubbly as you want. or it's
Right.
turned. So yeah, use the china, drink the champagne.
I think of that Dynasty clip. Champagne is burned. Like,
Yeah, there you go.
obviously it must have frozen in the bottle. Like,
Uh-huh.
that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
One last thing on the book.
Yeah.
What was your favorite part? Recipe
Oh.
testing, the writing, the
Mm.
storytelling, the photography.
Oh, wow.
I
Yeah,
mean, the fact that it's got like gorgeous edges. I mean, everything about.
wh I
Come
will say the
on.
shiny pink edge
Oh,
was incredible.
what a
Once I saw
surprise.
it in real life, I was like, "Why are there books without shiny edges?"
Thank you. Take
Yeah.
us back to like the good old days
I
when
mean,
they sometimes did special books.
absolutely. No,
Hmm.
I mean, recipe testing was fantastic. It was a
Huh.
lot of making the things and then serving them to Chip or to other friends and not telling them that I was recipe testing so I could get a legitimate reaction. You know what I mean? Because if someone goes,
Yeah.
"Hey, I'm thinking about this," like
Then they're
they're on the
immediately like,
spot.
let's be nice. Yeah,
Yeah, but
we've got to be kind.
if you put out something and no one really went for it, and it's like, "Hmm,
Yes.
noted." No, I really think
Ooh.
I mean, the shoot was just so fun. We did a video element to every single dish just so I could like cut together promo things and whatnot. But really seeing how you can do so much with so little was like kind of inspiring it was a skeleton crew. We have like no money. I don't know if you've heard this, but cookbooks, unless you're Martha Stewart, it's a labor of love.
It
Okay.
has to be. It has to be.
It's because, you have to have food stylists. You have to
Right.
get so much more food than you need just in case and for new and swaps. And,
Right.
it was a lot. And we really did it as like a guerrilla, like an independent crew, no one from my
Right.
publisher, no,
Ah,
no help. And so I think that process was cool because, I mean, even though it's not about the food and the recipe testing, it was cool because it felt like we were making 10 short films.
yes. You were making art. Like at the end of the day, you can look at your cookbook and go, well, yes, that's a successful cookbook, but that's also a successful book. It's a successful
Right.
project.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
I wanted it to feel like a coffee table book, and I really wanted to go there are a few there's probably like 10 photos in the book where I would say I would get that blown up as a print.
Absolutely. That you would go like, oh, this is going in a frame, like just
Right.
slap it somewhere.
Exactly. And probably the most proud I am is we had I have an aphrodisiac chapter where all the ingredients are aphrodisiac based and very fun of like, let's make this sexy. And we had these curtains for like, draping and we got a parsnip that looked like a leg and we pushed it
Oh,
out.
yes. Yeah.
So my favorite is that there is an image that for me it was in honor of the film Showgirls
Of
and its poster.
course.
And so I could have done an entire just like burlesque, showgirl
With root
themed
vegetables.
produce. Yeah. Yeah. I really had to go like, "Oh, sorry, we have an actual cookbook to shoot. I shouldn't be like figuring out what to do with these juicy tomatoes." Yeah.
It,
So
it
I think the
it brings
process.
back the like I Spy books where you're like,
Yeah.
ooh, who laid that out?
Right.
This is your new
Exactly.
renaissance.
Oh, I love
Just
I Spy. Oh,
how do
my
I make
goodness.
sexy vegetable pictures?
You know? And how do you make vegetables sexy? Because that is a big part of it in doing this was, how do you bring some decadence to something that is normally presented as, like, a bowl, or,
Right.
like, here's
Slop.
yeah, here's your side dishes, to
Yes.
to leave, like, all good things satisfied.
Absolutely.
You know what I
And
mean?
that's the thing. Like at the end of the day, nothing about that. Like you have to look to figure out that this is vegetarian, not in any sort of like tricky sense. It's
Right.
just the billing is this is a gorgeous, artful cookbook, not, okay, well, here's our green juice
Right. How
and
do
you're
we
going to be
sneak it in?
healthy.
How do we fool our
Exactly.
friends that this had
How do we
kale in
trick
it?
our kids into believing
Yeah.
that these chicken tenders are not broccoli? I,
Right? Exactly.
I mean, I
Exactly.
mean,
Or
that could be
are
fun.
grown men
Right.
with their
Well,
tenders.
for real. Okay, babe, we can have that tonight,
Right.
but you have to have a couple of
Yeah.
mine too that
Yeah.
are
Bites of salad.
it's just like vitamins
Oh my
wrapped and
gosh.
battered and fried.
Exactly. Right. Just shoved into a pigs in the blanket.
It's like giving a
Like a
it's like
dog.
giving a dog pills. Yeah. Catch the cheese. Yeah.
Exactly. Oh my
I
goodness.
don't know about you, but my dog pill successes are we have to use ham in this house, and I
Baby,
have to
I
roll it
gotta
up.
wait, really?
Oh yeah, ham. That's
Ham.
the secret. So I lay it out and then I roll it very tight. And then I go, here you go. And I like rip off the end piece. And he's like, oh, yeah, there's nothing in this because there was nothing in that. And then like you sneak it in the middle. It's awful.
It's the dance we do, the acting and covert presentations we do for dogs. I mean, my dog doesn't have any teeth. So if there's a pill situation, I truly have to like chop it up. But even after that, like in her picky old age, it's so
She
funny. Every night,
knows.
my other dog, Larry, like you open the fridge and he's jumping and doing 360s because he might get fed. Beans, I'm building like a variation, like her dog food, like crumbling a dehydrated chicken treat on top, and then
Yes.
coming to the couch and presenting it like a dessert cart. Like, I truly am like, well, madam, what do we think about tonight's offerings?
Huh?
And it's insane. Like, I don't have children, and this confirms I won't. 'Cause
I know. I know. Honestly, there are moments with Roscoe where I'm like, well, this is about to kill me. So if I had a child,
yes,
I would not. I'd be catatonic. So
yes,
no, I can't do that. But you're so
exactly.
right. I mean, like he's had like a little surgery here and there, and there's me like walking up to my bed, which he's laid out in 1,000 pillows and blankets. He has his own squishmallow. And I'm like,
I
would this
know.
interest sir? Like
It's so crazy.
my mother comes over with like a gravy that she made. She's like, well, I had some leftover. I think this might get him to eat.
There's no garlic in it for Roscoe. It's like,
Exactly that.
what?
Exactly.
So silly.
Uh-huh.
We love them though.
As she's typing into Google, what can dogs have this? I'm like, okay,
Constantly.
mom. Thank
Yeah,
you.
yes. As
We were
he's
carving
lapping up gravy.
exactly. We were carving pumpkins the other day and he was like licking the front of the pumpkin and as my mother's furiously typing, can dogs eat carving pumpkins? I think he had a piece.
Oh my gosh. I love her. I
It's
love her.
it's what we're here for.
But we're here. What
Oh,
we love.
I love it. Right. Dogs are the most important things. Why not worry about them? They're better
Hands
than
down.
people.
Hands down.
Hands down. Have you ever had a holiday kitchen disaster that's now become a beloved story or an inside joke?
I mean,
Or that just makes you go, oof, never again, not touching that recipe.
wow. I feel like I've been able to pull them out and like have my friends lie that they enjoyed it. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yes.
There's only been a couple times where I truly went, well, guys, we're not having this, and like thrown it away because because sometimes, and I feel like if you are throwing a big, so many different dish thing like you
Yes.
would on a Thanksgiving for 15 people,
Yep.
there's gonna be a dish that just does not turn out how you want. And I'm such a like Virgo, presentational person that I'm like, listen, this is a table full of beauty queens, and this is a little ugly dud.
Hmm.
It's gonna ruin the group photo. You know what I
And this is
mean?
the stage mom taking up too much space.
Keep her in the
Absolutely.
kitchen if you want to taste it, but she's not going on stage. Yeah.
No.
So
And
no
I'm a
big
Scorpio, so I
disasters.
don't believe
Okay.
anyone when they say to me that they enjoyed it. So
Right.
I get it. Yeah. Like,
Oh, I'm so needy. I'm just like looking around, being
but
like,
was that good? Did you like it?
oh,
You
so
mean that?
you prefer the store bought. You prefer the
Oh.
store bought pumpkin
Oh,
pie.
oh, so this was just okay.
So glad I
Oh,
roasted pumpkin.
got it.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I made rolls from scratch.
Right?
When you're
But
fine with the King's Hawaiian.
you love the Pillsbury Crescents.
Oh,
Okay.
fine,
But
fine.
there are also things I feel like because I'm a person who takes on things. Like last night, it's 7 p.m. and I'm like, are we going out to dinner or should we just cook something easy? And it's like, cook something easy. I'm like, let me just go to Trader Joe's, grab some stuff. No, I made like Hasselback butternut squash snack with chili crisp.
Which
I
sounds
made
incredible.
like a Brussels sprout salad with apples and blue cheese and everything. And there is no simple for me. However, I do feel like there are some things which is nice with holidays because it really is about tradition. It really is on Christmas morning, I'm just going to make Pillsbury cinnamon rolls. And that's
Yes.
because that is Christmas. I'm not going to get them from one of the amazing bakeries in LA. That'll be amazing. It's the knowing and the consistency that that's what we're going to have, and that is our not trashy, but that is our very easy tradition. When my first instinct would be, let's figure out how to make the dough and whatnot. You go, Don't mess with perfection, you know?
Let's over engineer this. No, it's so true. And I think that's the thing we all need to remember, that like we can be grown and we can be so happy that there are all of these beautiful places, but sometimes you have to go back to baseline.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes that Midwest
Yes.
nonsense,
That's what
the
I'm saying.
Southern comfort, like all of that, sometimes it's just what you need.
And that's okay. And I've tried blanching haricot vert and making
Mhm,
bechamel and making my green bean casserole fresh
mhm.
and fancy. And you know what? I want canned green beans and Campbell's mushroom soup and French's fried onions. And that's just
And
what it is.
nothing is gonna beat that.
No
Like,
one's going to scratch that it.
because I've done the same thing. And and there's the times where you roast the Brussels sprouts and you take
Yes.
up the precious oven space to do
Yeah,
these
yeah,
things,
true.
and you drizzle on the balsamic reduction, and
Yep.
everyone's like, well, that was good, but it wasn't grandma's overcooked Brussels sprouts.
Exactly.
You're like,
Exactly
oh,
that.
I could just have thrown these little shits in the pot for 4 days
Wait,
and you would have been pleased.
I could have been on the couch with you this
Right.
afternoon.
And I
Okay.
am the like, I have to make everything from scratch, and
I
I'm
know, me
not going to ask
too.
for any help. Or when people say, what can I bring? I'm like, oh, bring a dessert, because I won't bake.
Right.
You want
No, no,
dessert?
no.
Someone else bring that.
I say bring
But
some wine, bring dessert,
yes,
or
if you want a drink, bring a drink,
there we
bring a
go.
sweet.
My patented move with a party, not necessarily Thanksgiving, is I go Venmo me $20 towards someone coming to clean my house tomorrow.
Thank you. That's the real
I'm going to
tea.
go to the movies and go get some tacos and come back to a clean house.
Yes. Ooh, I'm gonna have to start outsourcing that. You
That's
are
what you
so right.
do. You say, don't bring me this bottle of bourbon that's going to sit in my
That I'm never
on
gonna touch.
never going to touch.
Never.
No, give me $25 towards, a cleaning service.
Towards whoever I can hire
Exactly.
tomorrow, the next week,
Mhm.
whatever. But someone to like touch up the work I did, because I do love the clean before everyone comes over.
Of course you have to.
It's fun.
Yeah,
Pop in an audiobook, go crazy.
love it.
But the after, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I know I have to let you go soon, but I'm gonna bug you with a lightning round. This is
Okay,
a
let's
fun
go.
little Thanksgiving this or that. Uh, I know you don't eat it, but turkey or ham.
It would be turkey. I
Okay,
miss turkey.
same, same. I get that. Mashed potatoes or sweet potatoes?
Mashed potatoes. I love sweet potatoes. I do a souffle with like a crunchy nut
Ooh.
topping instead of marshmallows, but mashed potatoes are a top 10 food.
Absolutely. You can't beat them.
Right.
We talked about it already, but for cranberries, canned or homemade, we know
Homemade.
homemade. Gotta do
Homemade.
it.
Yeah.
How long do you spend on it? I know it's technically a quick thing, but I feel like I like to take a little time with it. I like to
You
like
know,
let it simmer.
I let it simmer. I do a lot of orange zest, orange juice.
Yes.
Like I want it
Yes.
tart. And you know what? I
Mhm.
always have a safety can. You
Yes.
know, I
If
always have
someone's like, ooh,
or
pop it
because
out.
it's other people's, their
Yeah.
their
Their
traditions
comfort.
where they go, "Oh, it's not Thanksgiving without." You know what I mean? So everyone was
Yes.
raised different. So
There
you gotta have the safety can.
you gotta have the safety can in the cupboard that you're like an old book in a movie, and you're like,
Exactly. And it's
do
like,
we
"Oh,
need
this is good
this?
for 42 more years.
Oh,
We're
we're
good."
still clear and we
Yeah,
still haven't opened it.
exactly.
Green bean casserole or Brussels sprouts?
Green bean casserole. And I
Same.
love Brussels sprouts, but to me that's
But I
never
have them
been
all the time.
it's never been specifically Thanksgiving. Green bean casserole feels special.
It's the like at the very least, green bean casserole is holiday, even if it's like popping up at Christmas and Easter.
Yeah.
It's still, you're only having it at least one time, at most like three times a year.
Exactly. Brussels sprouts I'm having at the gastro pub for trivia night, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Stuffing or dressing. So do you like the like crunchy, or do you do more
Mm.
the like wet?
I prefer the crunchy, but I
Mhm.
would never turn away from a wet.
Ne- Never
You know,
gonna turn down stuffing.
no, never, never, never. But I prefer some texture, and I think I'm just like a texture person in general.
Yes, absolutely. Pumpkin or pecan pie?
Pecan.
Mhm.
And I love pumpkin, but like you
Yes.
gotta have I want my teeth to shake.
I want to fear for my life when
Yes.
I eat that pie.
Yeah. I want I
My
want
dental health.
I want to know that if I looked at the nutritional value of it, I would I like my pecan pie so
So
sweet
sweet.
that like I'm hungover. You know?
Yes, that you get the headache from
Yeah,
like too sweet of a white wine
yeah, yeah.
immediately. That while you're
Immediate.
drinking it, yeah, it's the same thing with a pecan pie. You're like, oh
Yeah.
no.
I want to hurt.
Have you ever made a pecan pie?
I I have not. I've always we buy them. That
Don't
is
do
like
it. Don't make one. I made one once. It was a delicious, amazing 10 out of 10, but now I know how the sausage is made. And
right.
so when you say that of like, I want it so sweet, I'm like, I know, and I know what
I
that
know.
costs.
I don't want to. That's literally why I don't bake. Is because I go. I
Yes.
don't. I don't need like how much butter is in
I
this
can't lose
croissant is not
this.
my business.
That's between me and my
Mm-hmm.
maker when I die. How much
Exactly.
butter is coursing through my veins.
Don't need it. Don't need it.
Mac and cheese or scalloped potatoes. And I know Chip might have a very different opinion on this, but
I'm gonna go mac and cheese. I love her, and I don't need it. I do like a homemade mac and cheese, but
yes.
I don't need it too crazy. I had a friend
You
who
don't
did
need it
mac.
like casserole style? Like you still like it to be mac and cheesy, or do you want it like
Oh, no, I
casserole?
like it baked with breadcrumbs, etcetera.
Okay.
Again, I'm a texture girl, so I like
Yeah.
getting in there. However, I don't need it to be overcomplicated cheese-wise. I had a
Oh,
friend who
yes.
came to
Simple.
Thanksgiving who she had the mac and cheese, and I'm not she must have spent $200 on it. I was like, "Why is there a whole fromagerie? Like,
Right.
just let's get some cheddars, let's get some,"
Keep
like
the Gruyere at home. Just
exactly.
throw some cheddar in there and call it a day.
I want my mac and cheese orange, you know?
Yes. I want to know what I'm eating. And then lastly, apple cider or mulled wine.
Ooh,
Or
I
out of left field third option.
oh, well, oh my goodness. I feel like this is the year I get into mulled wine. I've been having a very big wine year, and I never really got down with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
it was never
Hot
something
wine is
served.
weird in
It's
my brain.
it's
Yeah.
strange. It's strange,
Yeah.
but I think I'm gonna try it this year. I mean, hot cider, love it. A little bit of rum. I mean,
Hmm.
fantastic. But I feel like mulled wine, again, it's of a certain moment you're gonna have it once a year,
Yes.
as opposed to a
Yes.
cider, you do the whole fall. Same with pumpkin pie. I
Right.
think the reason why I don't go for it is because 'cause I've already had so many pumpkin things leading up to this moment.
You have so many different pumpkin accoutrements, but then you can have pumpkin pie anytime because it'll be on 17 menus. But that
Yes.
pecan pie, you're just getting that one day.
And then you're gonna have to lay down for a week.
You're never going to recover. And something
Exactly.
about like the whole house heating up, I go hide in the basement.
Oh,
I
love
cool
it.
off while other people do the dishes in my own
Ah,
home.
you have figured it out, Joe.
I try. I try. Well, before I let you go, anything you would like to plug, promote, where can the people find you?
Yeah. So, the name of my book is All I Think About Is Food, A Vegetarian's Guide to Keep the Party Going. And then every week, every Wednesday, my friend Grace and I podcast for our podcast, This Might Get Weird. Found anywhere you would find any podcast. And it's just a delightful escapism of, listening to two best friends chat, and some food countdowns is relevant. And on Instagram, I am Mametown. So I'm trying to put up more recipes, etc. coming soon.
Oh, I love it. That's so fun.
Yeah.
And I can attest this might get weird is an absolute joy.
Thank
I love
you.
feeling like I have my two besties on speakerphone as I do
Oh,
tasks around the house. So
yes.
go listen, friends.
Thank
Well, thank
you.
you. Thank you for being here.
Of course. My pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. Truly my joy. And listeners, now let's head over to our next segment. Well, hey, before we get back into all this delicious conversation, I wanted to take a quick moment to stir in a little gratitude. Thank you all so much for taking the time to check out this episode of Book Lounge by Libby. And if you've watched others or if you've listened to others, it means the world to me. And I am so thankful to you. Thank you so, so much for checking out the show. And remember, whether you're baking, basting, or binging your favorite stories this season, don't forget you can take that coziness anywhere with you, especially if you're traveling with Libby and Canopy. We've got holiday cookbooks, comfort reads, festive films, and our Yule log. You'll find everything you need to keep that warm, fuzzy feeling going. And with that, I wanted to make sure I recommended two cozy fall romances from our friends at Kensington Books. You could check out now in Libby, just in case you needed something else to add to your TBR. It's a little different from me, but I thought, why not? These covers, they take me right into the fall vibe. So who would I be if not matching the vibe from the jacket alone? First, we have Saving Laurel Springs by Lynn Stepp. It's a heartwarming novel set amid the lush splendor of the Great Smoky Mountains, where two kindred spirits are reunited in a charming story of first love and surprising second chances. So, we are talking about reuniting with a childhood sweetheart after they left you behind to go to California for college and went and married someone else. But now he's coming back as a widower with a kid. And all of a sudden, he wants to fulfill their dreams together. So, check that out. That is Saving Laurel Springs by Lynn Stepp. And of course, Delicious by Laurie Foster, Lucy Monroe, and Sarah Tidal. With a full moon hanging over the apple orchards of Delicious, Ohio, romance is in the air, and three couples are about to experience the magic of falling in love. So again, those are Saving Laurel Springs by Lynn Stepp and Delicious by Laurie Foster, Lucy Monroe, and Sarah Tidal from our friends at Kensington Books. Of course, you can find those titles and all of the books mentioned in today's episode linked in the episode description. All right, now let's head back to the kitchen table for the books we are most thankful for. Well, while Mamrie had a streaming of stuffing and second helpings, it is time to shift gears into a different kind of feast. In this next segment, our guest hosts are pulling up a chair to share the books they are thankful for this year. Think of it as a Friendsgiving for your TBR, stories that filled their hearts, stirred their imaginations, and reminded them why reading feels like home. So let's dig in. Joining me today, we have Carmen, Kevin, and Meara. If you all want to go around, say hi, introduce yourselves, tell the people where to find you, that'd be great.
My name is Kevin Norman. You can find me on TikTok and Instagram. I wish I came up with a clever, like bookish name like most people have, but it is just Kevin T. Norman. So original. I mean, in my defense, when I made my channel, I did not know it was going to be bookish. I did not know people made bookish content on the internet. And then I found out about like BookTube and Bookstagram and all these things that pre-existed before me, and here we are.
Isn't that fun how it happens? I feel like I feel like we have an odd split between creative name and name that is my name. So you're in good company. Carmen, welcome.
Hi, Joe. Thank you so much for having me here today. My name is Carmen, and you can find me on TikTok, Instagram, Threads, YouTube, Blue Sky, and Bindery as Tomes and Textiles. I read and recommend Latinx books, and I've been doing it for 10 years now. So I am an elder bookish person, if you will. So go find me there talking about books.
And also because you're here in the first half, Mamrie Hart joined us and she said to me, I was like, oh, I'll be with Carmen in the second half. And she said, ooh, Carmen, she saw 20-year-old Mamrie in the East Village.
I did. I saw Mamrie grow up in the East Village in New York, but she has blossomed into such an amazing woman. So I'm incredibly proud of her.
Oh, so fun. So exciting to have that connection there. And then Meara, welcome, as always.
Howdy again. Happy to be back. I'm Meara. If this is your first time seeing me, I go by Meara is Reading on all of the platforms. Kevin, I join you in the unimaginative name network. I just like to post mostly on TikTok and Instagram about whatever I'm reading at the moment, whatever is grinding my gears in terms of being a reader. I am just here to yap and have a good time.
And yap, we do. Well, today I like there's not a good way to find Thanksgiving books, which is what brings us into this, the books we're thankful for. So it could be the message, it could be like hope for the future, it could just have really great memories. I'm just gonna start us off to set the record here. My first pick is Lily's Purple Plastic Purse by Kevin Hanks. It was first published in 1996. And I don't know what it was about this book, but little me loved it. From her cool boots and a purple purse, like Lily was that diva. So I don't know if it was the illustrations they spoke to me, her being eccentric. She had a really kind and supportive teacher. He was cool. He was fun. He said howdy and had good snacks he passed out every day. Like that just sounded great. At this time, I wasn't in school yet. And I didn't love school once I finally got there because it was not like Lily's school experience. But I loved the idea of it. And as a kid who was always excited to share, There were some important lessons in the book for me about waiting your turn and, maybe not always being the social butterfly that was on every one of my report cards. But I also just love that my mom was excited to share this book with me and my own want for my own purple plastic purse. It didn't matter how many times I wanted to borrow it from the library, how many times I needed her to read it to me, and again, how much I wanted my own cool purse. So just something about unconditional love and support from a parent really makes this sing to me. So yeah.
That is so sweet. Oh my God.
Oh, y'all weren't ready for Joe to show up today, huh?
No, not with the first pick. I feel like the first pick is always the like, here's a pick, and then second pick, you're like, here's a little peek into my soul. But you said
Huh?
a heart's
Off
wide
the
open
bat.
today.
Rip off the Band-Aid.
Joe said, bring the tissues.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Did you ever get a little pink or purple purse?
I never had a purple plastic purse, but I had a wide array. The one that sticks out to me the most was a little panda. And like the face was a panda, you opened it up and then the purse was red. And that I was also like a backpack kid, but like the chic backpacks that women have today. Well, everyone has today because I have several of them. But I feel like if it was time to go, I could pack myself up in under 10 minutes with like everything to entertain myself for a week and be like, okay, here we go. So it was a
You
good
know what?
time.
It's not one of my picks, but I mentioned earlier that I do have chrysanthemum literally right here. And I also just have to
See?
shout it out because as a child, growing up with the name Meara, and none of my substitute teachers knew how to pronounce it or read it. And then having this book about a little girl with a unique name just like was so important to me. And that's why I literally at 30 years old still have this book.
Meara, what would they call you?
It would be like Meara,
Oh no.
Maria. And I'm like, the E is after the M. Like, what is happening?
Oh, I'm so sorry.
For real.
you.
Because also, like, I met you entirely off of just reading your name. And the first time we talked, I was like, Meara, because, I'm sure there
Yeah.
are still words that I've only ever read and never said out loud that I
Yeah.
get wrong. But
It is fun though. My name is becoming like variation spellings of my name are becoming very popular in romantasy specifically. Like I think at least once a quarter I read a book with my name in it in some way, and I'm waiting to see my spelling of it.
yes. And hopefully that also then means you can get your own little license plate at a gas station or a rest stop with your name on it.
And not like soccer star.
I did, my name's about as basic as they come. So when you said soccer star, I'm like, oh, well, at least you got something. I guess. I didn't even think replacement plates. Well,
Yeah.
who wants to give me their first title?
My first book is Smoke Gets in Your Eyes and Other Lessons from the Crematory by Caitlin Doughty. This is a book that I know a lot of people really turn to in grief. I really love mortuary science. And I picked up this book, I want to say at the end of college or right after college. And I just picked it up. I thought it was interesting. And it taught me so much about capitalism and about like culture in the United States and like just like Western culture and how there's a lot of lack of culture and how we use capitalism to create culture. And a lot of the things that is specifically like European immigrants to America who've like lost their like home country culture, they turn to things that were invented by capitalism to try to feel a sense of something. It just like really influenced my opinions about the whole burial process and everything we do with death culture. And it like has like changed how I approach talking about grief and death preparation with my family and my loved ones. And so it just like really opened my eyes to a lot in a way that you're like, what could you learn from a book about a woman talking about doing cremation as her first job out of college?
That
It's
sounds fascinating.
it's
It is.
so good. It's an incredible book. It's also like part memoir. So right toward the end, you get a very dramatic reveal of state of life of Caitlin at that point in time. And Caitlin's YouTube channel is incredible, where she shares all sorts about different funerary and death customs. Like, oh, it's so good. And I'm one of the people who turned to it in grief. And it did the same thing to me too, that afterwards I was just like, oh, I actually need to understand what I want because so much of this is fake. Like we don't have, like we don't have any actual practices, it feels like, in most segments of the US. So it's just.
And even her other novels, I don't know. I think that we in like learning, like books really help us like learn and embrace empathy and like respect for peoples and cultures and stuff like that. And I think that death culture is not one of those things that we think about, but it actually is so, so important. And understanding this globally for everyone is just, it really like opens your eyes to like how to be like a good community member to people. And this book kind of like opened the door for that. And if that's something that you are interested in, it's not a like complicated read. It's not like super scientific. You don't have to know a ton of things. Like it's very, because it's about her life dipping her toes into this and like kind of going into it blind. So it is an easy way to merge in.
She has that educator approach to sharing knowledge that it's super welcoming and accessible.
Yeah. So that's Smoke It's in Your Eyes.
Love it.
I just clicked buy now, so while on
Perfect.
this call. Consider
favorite
me
thing to hear.
influenced.
Consider influenced happened. So, Kevin, do you think you're ready? Your first book? Just tell us what it is. Give us a
Yeah.
little
I mean,
taste.
Meara pulled theirs out, so I was like, wait, I should have it at the ready. So 2 years ago now, I started with Bindery, my own publishing imprint. And my imprint was all about uplifting marginalized voices and stories. Especially because growing up like queer and half Mexican, I didn't really know um what stories to cling to and where to find stories. So I wanted to create a place where people can experience more cultural diversity in literature. And so for my first book that I published, it's called Inferno's Heir. It's a YA duology. The second book just came out. And I picked this book for multiple reasons. One, I love me a morally gray character. I think we need more of them, especially morally gray women in literature, and loved that aspect. Two, this reminded me of everything I love in like fantasy books and in YA fantasy. It was like an homage to the books I clung to growing up. And then three, our main character, Taya, right here, she's half Shaylani and Orisian, but it's half Asian, half white, and so I really related to that aspect of her and how she lives in this kingdom where she's royalty, but everyone still treats her like an outsider. And so she kind of has to make a name for herself in a world that really doesn't want her there. And yeah, that's Inferno's Heir. I love this duology. The second book, honestly, is better than the first, which is a rare thing that happens. But yeah, this book means a lot to me because it was the first time I became a publisher and like someone trusted me to make a judgment call on promoting a book, and that's scary.
Yeah, and also a gorgeous cover. Like,
Thank you. I'm
yeah, that
obsessed.
art. Oh, I think.
I love it.
Oh, sorry, Carmen.
No, go ahead, Joe.
I was going to say, I think the goal behind representation, and Carmen, as you're coming in, but the two of you, I always turn to be like, what am I missing? Kevin, I totally relate. Growing up queer, there was never anything, and it always makes me happy today to see what's available and ready to go. But oh, it's still hard. It's still hard to like accept that we had to hunt for our stories.
Yeah, I would always relate to female characters too.
Same.
So that's why like the two books I published with my imprint have powerful women at the forefront because that's how I always saw myself when it came
Yeah.
to media.
Absolutely.
Well, Kevin, I have to Uno reverse you on the just click purchase because I actually already have the book.
Oh my gosh.
I haven't read it yet. So now it's going higher up in my TBR.
Well, thank you. You should. I hope you like it.
I love the synergy here today. I can't believe that. It's like Kevin's buying Meara's book. Meara already has Kevin's book. This is very fun.
It's so good. And now, Carmen, do you want to give us your first book? Let's see who's buying that.
Well,
Or we all
who
have it
has
on our shelves, perhaps?
we may have this book on our shelf. It is Charlotte's Web by E.B. White. So when you put out the call, I was like, well, books I'm really grateful for. And for me, I think Charlotte's Web made me the person I am now. And I didn't realize that until I read it as an adult. I recently got this copy from the publisher and I started like paging through it because there's like illustrations. And then I just couldn't put it down. I read it, in an hour or whatever. And I remember that this is the first book that I ever wanted to check out over and over and over again from the library. And it was like the entry point into finding books that I'm obsessed with. But also, as someone whose father was a butcher and two uncles were pig farmers, and the role that meat played in our families, it was a book like I literally sat them all down and told them about. And I was like, we shouldn't be eating meat. Like it, when I'm a vegetarian now as an adult, and I don't know if that caused that, but it was very much a book like when I think about it, how they anthropomorphized, pigs, spiders. Fern is this like radical woman, like trying to stop these things from happening she doesn't think is right. I feel like I maybe read this book so much, I made it my entire personality as an adult, or it just taught me so many lessons and planted the seed for trying to be a good adult. I still haven't gotten over my fear of spiders, but I respect them because I always think of Charlotte, right? And yeah, this is a book that fed me emotionally, spiritually, and in so many ways as a child. And even as an adult, I can look back on it and be like, I'm so glad I was obsessed with this book. Like it made me a better person.
But who's got the tissues now?
I was about to say, you guys. I think I'm gonna cry now.
Oh, Carmen, that's beautiful.
What?
I mean, and there are so many important lessons. Like I am a proponent of rereading. I love returning to books, especially some of our favorites growing up. I think either to see how it shaped us or pick up the things maybe we missed when we were younger. But also in that case, like the moral of the story, finding it and hearing your relationship, your family's relationship with like butchery and having to go, hey, this is us.
Yeah, it was a very interesting thing. And, I think the other thing was I've been afraid until like a few weeks ago, I hadn't picked it up since childhood. And sometimes you're afraid to go back to revisit those things from childhood
Uh-huh.
because it's like, well, what was in there? And like, I read this and I'm like sobbing, and my husband's like, what's going on, Carmen? And I was like, I reread Charlotte's Web, and he's like, oh dear Lord. So it was very much a book that it's as good as it was in my memory and still makes you cry after all this time, which is still something that for me is a hallmark of a book I love.
Absolutely. Emotions are important and anyone who can bring them out of you. But it's also nice when it gets to pass the test of time. Ooh.
Yes.
So I broke the rules picking a second book. The rules that I set. So yeah, thank you for that face, Carmen, because I know I'm always the one who says, pick two books, we're sticking to it for time. So instead I brought a list. How do you just pick two books, especially since the books I'd try to put in this spot that were like fighting with me all day today? I've brought up a lot over the years hosting the podcast. So here's just the storytelling version of this instead. I think reading is so important. I think there's no surprise there. I think we all kind of feel that. But it also brought so many people into my life. And it makes me think of my dear friend Jen, who I became close to all the way back in middle school because we both loved A Series of Unfortunate Events. And together, that same friend and I made our way through Angus Thongs and Full Frontal Snogging and the rest of the series at the same time. But then thinking in connections for longtime listeners under our previous branding, my former co-host Emma and I were really connected when I live texted her my reactions as I went through the Joe Goldberg series by Carolyn Kepnes for the first time. And so I think I kept thinking on those like connections. How do I, so then all of a sudden I'm thinking about you. So right there, how do I pick between those? Then suddenly I'm thinking of my love of manga and graphic novels. Well, Sailor Moon's what started it all for me. That's how I discovered manga, from seeing random episodes at like 6 in the morning before school to going to the library to borrow them and discovering the wide world around me. But also at the same time, Cardcaptors, the anime, introduced me to Cardcaptor Sakura. And then Clamp is my favorite artist group. So then I'd want to bring up Tsubasa or Holic. So like it goes on. And I really, when I break the rules, I break them big time. So then I look at this past year or so, and one of my favorite series that I found in the last like 18 months was I Think Our Son is Gay, which gives me so much hope and is so feel good. It is a recent release. Like, it just wrapped up this year, and knowing like the politics around gay marriage and just the language of gay folks in Japan, and seeing a series like that coming into existence fills me with hope, even when things are bleak in so many places. And then I love a slice of life. So there was Hirosumi that I found this year and is still publishing, which I love to find a series when it's done. But so then it brought me back just into reading, and I was like, what book brought me back? What would deserve this second spot? And I'll spoiler alert, I'll never pick one book. You're just truly going to get a list out of me. So I started looking through my journal. I have been keeping a record of every book I finish since I was going into middle school. Um, yeah, there's been quite a few books in there. And so I started counting, and I was regularly reading 60 to 100 books a year from that period of time until college around 2012, 2013, where I would be lucky if I would read 10 books a year. And I have a literature major, so oops, I didn't always do all my reading. Like, that wasn't even the coursework books. And then as I got further out from college, slowly things started to tick back up, 15 or so books a year. But finally, once we get into like 2019, I was back into reading slowly but surely. And like 2020 was even better. Imagine saying that outside of the context of reading books. And then by 2021, I read Smoke Gets in Your Eyes after a significant loss in my family. And then I followed that by a little book I've never mentioned on any podcast I'm on ever before, The House in the Cerulean Sea. And that combo within like a few weeks of each other healed so much of me. On one end, grief, on the other side, like queer love and acceptance. And then from there, I found The Witchlings. And then I was so back in 2022, back to like 60 to 80 books a year. And now, as of recording, we're recording this at the beginning of November. I'm already over 110 books for this year. And there's still some time left. So I've found my stride again. But long story long, because I couldn't pick between The Bad Beginning or The House in the Cerulean Sea, since I've mentioned them so much. The list is The Bad Beginning, Angus Thongs and Full Frontal Snogging, You, Sailor Moon, Cardcaptor Sakura, Tsubasa, Holic, I Think Our Son is Gay, Kira Yasumi, Smoke Gets in Your Eyes, The House in the Cerulean Sea, and Witchlings.
I can't wait to see how like all those covers are edited into the screen of the video. Is it just gonna be like slowly like overtaking your face?
Oh my God, right? Good luck, Andrew. And thank you for all the work you do as you edit this.
He's probably like,
You
oh
were the
no.
living no, Andrew's like, I'm not in a high enough pay range for that. But you're like the living embodiment of the GIF where like, like you get the scroll out and it just like rolls off the
It just rolls
screen.
all the way out. Yeah, right. What's really going to happen is all the jackets are going to be floating like that GIF when all the math comes up on the screen. That's more like what it's going to be. No, it's going to be whatever he does because he's a genius and I'm so grateful. Please don't leave me, Andrew. Uh, but yeah, so sorry I couldn't follow my own instructions because how do you just pick two? So
Okay.
those are the books that like I was just standing in my library and like turning in circles like, oh, what do I pick? So here we are.
That was beautiful.
Thank you.
I feel like we like took a journey through time with you.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that was kind of what I was going for. I feel like, oh well, you don't always get Rex from me, so I'll backload them.
Yeah.
And I feel like they were all
Alright.
so different.
Yeah.
That was my other goal because like I think we all can appreciate like get a little stuck sometimes. We fall in the mood or the niche that we love for a minute and it feels like, oh, I just recommended a book like this. So
I mean, we've literally talked about The House in the Cerulean Sea last week.
oops, see? See?
That's
This
why I
is
laughed so hard. I
why.
was like, oh, what book could it be? And then you said that, and I was like,
Right,
of course it
exactly.
is.
Exactly. So
All
yeah,
right, my
I'm coming
turn.
back to you. Yep, your turn.
Once again, my recommendation is not like sweet. However, if for some reason you're listening to this and you've been following me since my early Tumblr days, you remember when I could not shut up about this book series. If you've been listening to this podcast since last season, you've probably heard me like crumb in this book series before, but I've never like full chested recommended it, which is so crazy to me Because as I was trying to pick my second book, there were obviously like a ton of books. I actually changed it to this at the last minute when I was like, oh my God, I have to recommend it. And like it kind of goes with the question of what is like the first book that you remember wanting to read over and over? And for me, this wasn't like necessarily a childhood book, but it was middle grade, teenage, junior high era when I was like finally developing, like exploring genres and like really finding like new things and like building taste and not kind of just reading like small chapter books. Hang on, I have to pick it up. It is The Unwind Dystology by Neil Shusterman. A dystology is a word that he made up. It is a 4-book series. I think there's also like a novella or like a short story collection, but this is like the core 4. I first read Unwind when it came out. I want to say in like 2007, and I think I read it 5 times that year. This is a young adult dystopian series, so it is not heartwarming at all. The concept is basically that a second civil war was fought over abortion rights, and they came to the agreement that you cannot terminate a fetus because it hasn't had the chance to prove itself. So instead, you can get rid of a child in your care that is between the ages of, I want to say 12 and 18 by giving them as property to the government. And the government takes their whole body apart and uses 99% of their body through donation and sales. So like rich people can buy like a whole nice pair of organs versus someone who is impoverished but needs a skin graft might get like a bad piece of skin kind of thing. And the theory is, or like the agreement is that if 99% of the body is still alive, we didn't kill them. And so it follows 3 characters. It is a teenage boy who his parents are just over him, and so they signed him over to government. A teenage girl who is a ward of the state, and she was not skilled enough at her skill, so they signed her over to be unwound. And a freshly 12 or 13-year-old boy whose parents are super religious, and they belong to a sect who believes that you should have 10 children and tithe the 10th child as a like act of will for God. And these 3 end up together on the run from the government. So now they are AWOLs. And the 4 books are them kind of getting away, starting a revolution, changing the system as the system is cracking down and becoming worse. Like I said, it is not at all a happy series, but I loved it. And it's very clever and well written. And it like, I know that Neil was on the podcast a few episodes. That man knows how to read the writing on the wall and write fantastic speculative fiction. It's a series that I kept coming back to every single book. And I mentioned that I used to be really loud about it on Tumblr. I was so loud about it on Tumblr that it got to the point that, I think it's this one. This is, nope, I don't know which copy it is. One of my copies is signed. I don't know where I put it. Sorry, Andrew. There it is.
I can attest because I was going to say you showed me after he was on.
Neil Shusterman reached out to me, my friends, and was like, thank you so much for being loud about my book on the internet. So this series kind of started my book influencing journey, in which an author was like, you are helping my series be seen and heard and grow. So Neil sent me a copy of the 3rd book. He sent us copies of the 4th book. Me and my friends are in the acknowledgments of the book because we were so loud about it. So not only is it just a book series that I loved, it is a book series that loved me back. And for that, it has to go on this list.
So absolutely. And like your love of dystopian fiction is the best. I mean,
it's truly my passion.
It is. And when you pulled out that acknowledgement, I was just like, oh, look at that. Born to yap.
Born to yap and be loud about the things that I love.
And that's the best way to be.
As we should, as we all should, as we all are, considering the fact that we're here right now.
Yeah, looking around this room, I think we are.
Meara, I knew immediately how well loved the series was because you did not have any dust jackets on it. I was like, oh, she's burned through those.
Yeah, those didn't, I don't think they even made it past like 2 years of ownership.
Crazy fact about me, I love to plastic wrap my dust jackets like a library because as a kid, I loved going to the library and the feel of the books. So now if I have hardcover books, I will plastic wrap them. And I think the dust jackets are pretty and I want to see them on the cover while I read. I'm sorry.
Kevin, I love that. I love that. When I was a kid, my mom would like contact paper if I had a paperback that I was like traveling with, so I wouldn't destroy it. So same concept, but the idea of like let's keep our dust jackets alive and well. But I'm with you. People who take them off while they read, I have that same feeling of like, but where'd it go? I want to feel it and see it and hold it while I'm going.
They're so pretty, but I don't want them to get like crumbly. I'd rather the cover
Which
get
is why
crumbly.
I protect it.
You're
Do
you're
you
doing
have
it
a
right.
do you have a particular type of plastic wrap that you use, or anything will do?
So no, I used to use this like cheaper plastic wrap I found on Amazon, and then I think I saw like a video of a library and found out what they were using. And
Mhm.
so it's called Brodard or is
Yep.
the company, and it's called
Mhm.
Just a Fold 3. And that's
Mhm.
what I use. You just fold the little sucker and then it's set. And then you can tape it if you want so it'll like stay, but it pretty much just sticks without the tape. That's just personal preference. Yeah, I don't know. It just makes the books look more magical to me. I think it also reminds me of my childhood and just going to the library and checking books out.
I love that. That there is something specifically magical because only library books feel that way
Yes.
unless you do it yourself and you went right to the source.
I did go to a bookstore in Edinburgh, I want to say, might have been in London, that does that on all of their books. Like if you buy
Oh,
a
was it
hardcover book,
Goldsboro?
Goldsboro.
yes,
Goldsboro. That's what.
wow,
Yeah.
Mhm.
y'all knew. But I like walked in and I was like, what the heck? When I saw all the books in their plastic wrap.
Yes. Oh, that's the treat. Well, Kevin, do you want to give
Wow.
us your next pick? Or, break the rules with me. Go wild if you want, but
I mean, I have two in mind. I'm
do
gonna
them both.
grab them. Hold on.
Yeah.
Uh, one I collect multiple editions of. Um,
Love that.
okay, so I'd be remiss if I did not mention The Golden Compass. I will buy when I go to used bookstores, I will look for different editions of this book. It's the number one book I reread most often, and I'm not a big rereader, but there's something about this book that has crack in it, or as Philip Pullman will say, dust. And I'm obsessed. I think it's such a fascinating world. And my obsession with it started actually when the movie was going to come out with Nicole Kidman, and it got so much backlash by the Catholic Church. And I was like, well, now I'm fascinated. What's the deal? And then I saw the movie, loved the movie. Everyone's like, the movie's terrible. It's nothing like the books. And so I was like, well, let me just read it. I read it, obsessed. I love how it makes you question structured religion and free will and what destiny is. I love the idea that your soul lives outside of your body in the form of an animal that also like represents who you are. I have a cat now, and I always say my cat is my demon, because it does feel like a spiritual connection. And I don't know, I love this series so much. And there's a new trilogy that he wrote that happens like 10 years after this one that I just recently started, and it deals with more adult themes, even though Golden Compass has a ton of adult themes in it. Um, yeah, so there's that one. And then, not to rant, but I have to choose one more for my imprint, which would be Black Salt Queen. Very different from Inferno's Air. This is a pre-colonial Philippine-inspired fantasy. Growing up, one of my biggest mentors in my life was from the Philippines, and he unfortunately passed away. And so, like, choosing this book was also a way for me to honor him and his culture. But on top of that, it's just a story about these powerful women who run an entire nation, and they are not likable women. They are brutal. They are petty. They are driven by duty, even if that means sacrificing the people they love. And honestly, I just read book two, which is a manuscript in its current form. Uh, this is a villain origin story. And when you read the second one, that'll totally make sense. And so it's interesting seeing reviews of this because it's very polarizing. Some people are like, I hate the characters. I could not relate to them. And then other people are like, such a lush, vivid world. It's very great to see such complex female characters. And I think that's a sign of a good book. If it's polarizing and you get two like opposing views of the same story, that's a great book in my opinion. And I don't know, I love it. I could rant all day. I just feel like I've been yapping, but those two books mean a lot to me.
I love that. I'm totally with you. I'm always intrigued when I see a book review that's like, oh, everyone loves it or hates it. There's no in between at all. And it just makes you go like, all right, what's in here? I need to
Yeah.
know. I need to understand. But also like the cultural connection. It's my favorite way to get the chance to learn more. It's just to like hop in a book, but see it as like a natural narrative.
And the author, San of Black Soul Queen, does such an amazing job of weaving her culture into the story in such a cinematic way. And it also does a lot of exposition as well. And she mainly wrote this book, I think, to honor that. Like she was missing that part of her own culture. So she created this world and this story where she thought, what would the Philippines look like if it was never colonized? And what would those rulers be like? And I say this book is literary fiction in a fantasy setting. That's the best way to describe it. Very character driven. So some people will be like, nothing happens. And I was like, what do you mean? So much is happening with these characters and their emotions. But that's what I also learned. Some people need action to equate that to things that are happening. I love political intrigue. Both my imprints books, political intrigue, political scheming. Yeah, I could talk all day.
Listen, I
And we'll
support
let you,
women's
yeah.
wrongs and books where you're
Same.
like, women do wrongs. I'm like, ooh, sign me up.
Yes. And it's like Romeo and Juliet, but in reverse. They go from lovers to enemies, and you see how. It's fascinating. I love it. I love it, love it, love it.
That's even better and makes me want the like villain story to come even more.
I didn't know where it was gonna go until I read the sequel, and I was like, oh, so we went there. Like it's
Oh, that's where this is headed.
it's pretty much like when you become the monster you think you're fighting. That's how I would equate it.
Oh, that's incredible.
Meara's like falling out of her chair.
Right.
I mean, read it, enjoy it. I hope y'all like it. Book 2 is also even better. It's one of those things. I love when a series just gets better and better.
I love that you managed to bring two of those where you're like, book 2 is somehow better than the first.
I think
So
because like the
rare.
It's
first book,
rare.
yeah, I think the first book does so much of like the setup. So the second book, you kind of get to relax into it. You know these characters now, and so you get to see what unfolds without having to do so much like learning and backstory.
And do you know how many copies of The Golden Compass you have?
Oh, let me count.
Oh, they're in front of you.
I have like a whole like little shelf dedicated. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Wow.
Oh, 7.
Incredible.
And then I bought like some special editions of them. So I'm
Yeah.
equating those.
Hey, I get it. I was never high on the special edition train, and then Fairy Loot put out the Howl's Moving Castle special edition set, and oops.
Listen,
Yeah.
all my special edition Shatter Me books, they
Oh,
email me,
no.
they're like, new one. And I'm like, yes, here's my credit card, take it.
Yeah.
Bye now.
Card's already on file.
Yep.
I'm waiting for
Just-
Fairy Loot to do Golden Compass, and I'm ready.
We've got to be close. It's got to be
Yeah.
time.
I haven't seen a book box do it, and it honestly shocks me because it feels like such a popular series.
Right.
And
Like,
so many
I know
series are based on it.
I know like so many of the movie, I so much like kind of panned the movie, but it gave life to the series of books. It brought you to it. So I don't know why no one's adapted it, or not adapted it, but like special editioned it.
I'm following.
Hey, end of the day, brain. Carmen, your last pick. Or
The floor is
picks.
yours.
Yeah, the floor is yours. We surrender.
So there's nothing like reading your favorite author for the first time. And that happened to me when I picked up Signal to Noise by Sylvia Moreno Garcia. And I picked it up because at the time I thought that it was a YA novel, and it is not. It is just a book that part of it takes place when the characters are teenagers. This is the story of Meche, which, speaking of seeing names in books, her name is Mercedes and her nickname is Meche. And that is, I have a cousin, Mercedes, whose nickname was Meche. And it was the first time I ever saw her name, the spelling, everything in a book. And Meche is this, speaking of women's wrongs and being unlikable, Meche is really not very likable as a teenager. And even as an adult, she's a little bit gruff. But what ends up happening is that she has a very small group of friends, Sebastian and Daniela. And she is playing around with records. This is the 1980s. And she realizes that she can cast spells from the records. And it's based on particular songs have particular powers. So I'm trying not to give too much away. So the three friends, they're sort of like a coven reluctantly with Meche at the head, because Meche eventually wants to do things and the friends break up. Then it's 20 years later and Meche's father has passed away. And it's the novena, which is like the 9 days of, mourning that follow a death. And Daniela is coming over. She kind of hesitantly is talking to Meche because Meche had moved away and comes back for the funeral. And Sebastian, also like reluctantly comes back into the picture. This book very much reminded me of the nostalgia of spending 8 to 12 hours to create the perfect mixtape for someone, particularly when you have feelings for them. And I was like, whoever this author is, I will read anything that she writes. And so it was this nostalgia that she captured, which to me, I don't know if this is something that she like rattled around her head for a long time, but it seems like the story that she probably has sat with the longest in a way. And that's probably the most meaningful to her in some ways, because it's very much a teen story. There's heartbreak, there's some making mistakes as a teenager. There's also like the ability to come back as an adult. But this is the story that introduced me to my favorite author. And I have, speaking of multiple copies of her book, she has like 11 books now, and I have like 100 of them sitting in that middle section where the Bewitching is behind me. I have 3 copies of this book, and I have every special edition. I had a friend who was in Germany and got me an edition of The Daughter of Dr. Moreau and brought it in her suitcase and gave it to me and things like that. So I collect her books now, and like, to me, she's my favorite author, not just because of what she writes and like her ability to write characters, but I also love that Sylvia Moreno Garcia is not an author who is held down by genre. She just writes what she wants. And I feel like a lot of authors get trapped into whatever genre made them popular. And she has written high fantasy, like a contemporary fantasy. She's written noir, historical fiction. And so I love a woman who can do anything. So that signal to noise and my connection to it.
And she can do everything. Like you said, it's so rare to see an author, especially today where we are so genre locked, who delivers something different every time.
Mm.
And the only consistency is her incredible writing. And you just know you're in for a treat.
Yes, correct, Joe. Correct answer.
Well, right. I mean, like, she's got so many books that every time, like, I don't even think I had heard of this until you brought it up. And because I'm like slowly working my way through her catalog. It's the like, oh, I'll take a break with this one. We'll pop this in next. The Bewitching got, some special early it got bumped up because it was like, that's my kind of stuff right there. But yeah.
Carmen, I
Okay.
pulled this from my shelf. The Beautiful Ones, my favorite by her.
Is that
And
the
you could
Goldsboro
tell.
edition?
No, this is the normal one that I plastic wrapped.
Like, can I send you mine so you can plastic wrap mine?
Yes, of course. But I'm obsessed with her.
Yeah, and
Ugh.
I think I may have recommended The Beautiful Ones in another episode. I can't really remember. I know this isn't the first time I'm recommending her in the series. Yeah, The Beautiful Ones. Ooh, that book, like the character development and like the plot twist, for lack of a better word. Ooh, like no one's written something like that before. Oh, so good.
I
Anyway,
always tell
sorry.
people it reminds me of The Great Gatsby and Pride and Prejudice.
Interesting.
That's how I've always looked at it. Take that as you
Oh.
will.
I've always said it's a age of innocence with magic.
Okay.
That's how I've always comped it. Yeah. But I
All-
love the PMP thing. Yeah.
But all of these vibes, I'm like, well, I found the
I
next
know.
Sylvia to bump up the list. Well, thank you all for incredible sharing moments here today. Before we wrap up, anything from this year you're like, I have to shout this out, or anything that like it's too early for me to add this to a list like this, or just final thoughts, whatever. I know, as you all furiously look around.
I'm literally looking at all my books. I'm like, what is
No. Like,
there?
what did I read this year?
Pulling up my
What did
story
I
graph.
read?
I will say I'm thankful for the third book in the new Golden Compass trilogy that just came out. So
I love
I'll
it.
have I read it yet? No, but I'm thankful it exists.
And sometimes that's all we need. We just need a new addition to our fave series, even if it's not our
Yeah.
favorite, it exists.
If I could be tacky for a moment, my
Please.
thankful thing is not for like a specific book or author. It's for this podcast. Because as I'm looking through my reads this year, so many of the books that I have picked up since this podcast started are books that I got to talk to people about on this podcast. And it's just like truly expanded what I am naturally picking up. So great job, Joe. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. I like to bring y'all together.
I don't know. I've been having such an off reading year, and I can't answer better than Meara. So I don't know. I'm grateful. I'm grateful to be here, and I'm grateful to be filming with you all, and to have such a lovely afternoon after the time change. And like, I don't know. I feel like this is the worst jet lag of my life right now. So I'm glad that I'm happy to have spent this hour with you all, where I feel like I've had 3 cups of coffee, and I'm so rejuvenated to read more and talk about this more.
We're bringing you back to baseline. I'm thankful for all of you, and I'm thankful for all of you fighting for books, for libraries, for people's rights to read. So keep it up, everyone. And now we will transition to me doing an outro, maybe in the same outfit, maybe in a different one. I'll never tell. And with that, we are at the end of our meal together. Thank you all so much for joining me for this episode of Book Lounge by Libby. I appreciate all of you for coming back week after week, or if you found us for the first time, thanks for checking it out. If you're hearing this right now, thank you for making it all the way to the end. I hope you'll consider following the show on your podcast platform or on the Libby app YouTube channel. It really means the world to me, and I love to get to share with everyone. Of course, a huge thank you to Mamrie Hart for joining me in segment 1 to share her holiday memories, kitchen wisdom, and cozy seasonal vibes, as well as letting me geek out as a super fan. And of course, many, many thanks to all of my guest hosts, but especially the guest hosts from segment 2 today, Carmen, Meara, and Kevin. Thank you for joining me in segment 2, sharing the books that you are thankful for, that you love and adore, and your reasons behind them. I'm so grateful. I'm also grateful that I got to share my picks with you. So thank you. Now, make sure, as I said at the top, if you haven't already, you're following the show and subscribe to the Libby app YouTube channel so you don't miss next week's episode, where we are going from page to screen with an entire episode on book adaptations. Until next time, happy cooking, happy eating, and happy reading from all of us here at Book Lounge by Libby. You can sample and borrow the books from today's episode in the Libby app, or if you're a librarian, find them for purchase in Overdrive Marketplace. Book Lounge by Libby is a proud Evergreen Podcast signature program. Explore more amazing shows at evergreenpodcasts.com. This podcast is produced and recorded by me, Joe Skelly, with editing by Andrew Alonso. Our theme music is High Five by Rex Banner, used with permission. Book Lounge by Libby is presented by the Libby app. Learn more at libbylife.com/booklounge.